What's up? Hope everyone's having a good day and is ready for another episode in the video series I like to call Underrated Throwers. Today we got Cory Martin here, throwing 22-10 at Tucson in Arizona. He is a 9-time All American, a 2-time NCAA Champion. Obviously, you can see a 22 plus meter shot putter, a 70 plus meter hammer thrower, and a 24 plus meter weight thrower. So a very, very good all-around thrower. I don't know if he really threw much of discus. I'm assuming not. But he was really good at hammer and really good at shot put. And pursued shot put after his collegiate career and got ninth in 2013 at the World Championships in Moscow, which is like the highest place he ever finished in an international competition at the senior level. I think he placed a little higher at like junior. Oh no, actually that wasn't international, but whatever. But yeah, so he was a very, very, very good thrower. So the reason why I think he's underrated is one, I mean, he just kind of got lost in the shuffle because he was never really on the same level as the other shot, like the Ryan Whitings and I guess still Reese Hoffas and Christian Cantwell's at the time. And maybe Adam Nelson was kind of falling off at that point. But yeah, like he wasn't, and Stroll and Majeski, like he wasn't on that level in terms of popularity. He didn't have like the longest career. So, but I think he's very underrated. I think he's one of the best collegiate throwers ever. Certainly one of the most decorated. And just all around, just really solid technique, honestly. And he has pretty unique technique. So let's break this down. So first, let's just watch this full speed. It looks pretty solid, and then the finish looks a little weird, but we'll break it down, and it's not as weird as you would think. And I don't mean weird as in like bad. I mean just weird as just non-conventional. So let's break this down. So does a really nice wind, so really keeps his feet planted. So he has a really wide stance. I don't know how tall he is, but I think he's pretty tall actually. He looks really tall at least. He's definitely like 6'3" plus. So yeah. Although I could totally be wrong. Again, as usual in this series, I'll link his personal best, height, weight, and notable accomplishments in the video description. So if I can find his height and weight, sometimes it's a little difficult to get a reliable source on that, but whatever. So yeah, so let's break this down. So as I said, keeps feet firmly planted and just winds the torso, so it keeps his hips in the same place. So let's break this down. So that's why he gets a super nice stretch on his left side and gets really torqued, and all he has that separation. And then he kind of turns out the back, kind of like Cantor in many ways, like Gerd Cantor. So some of the similarities, a really nice simple wind, so it doesn't wind that far. Like he doesn't like turn his chest all the way to here or something like an Adam Nelson. So just nice and simple, really static in the feet. Cantor was a little more dynamic with the feet, but yeah, so not that much though. And then really likes to keep which is the style of the time, keeping the left arm inside the left knee. Nowadays, I feel like people are getting away from that because it's really hard to turn out the back. But obviously you can throw far from doing this. It could just be it was a product of the time, because I know that was very popular because of what Ryan Whiting was doing. So a lot of people try to throw like Ryan Whiting back in like the mid 2010s and stuff, because he was the big dog for like a little bit, big rotational dog. I mean, but yeah, so this could have just been a product of the time. I don't think so though. Actually, I do think that's part of it. I also think, people also use this cue If they have a problem like ripping out the back, so like if they're super upper body dominant, just keeping this left arm inside the left arm ensures that your legs will always be ahead of your upper body. So it's more of like a safety thing, but it's not that dynamic. But he does a really nice job. So what the difference is, what him and Gerd keeping this in is he's really turning his left leg really fast. And this is a beautiful position. I love this position so much. This to me is honestly one of the best back positions ever, in my opinion. Just that super big stretch between the legs. So Vestina Tyson, Gerd Cantor, and Daniel Saul's coach and whatnot, the GOAT discus coach in my opinion, he always talked about this reverse V. That is not a V, but a reverse V, which means keeping feet firmly planted on the ground. Well, not planted, but like on the ground, especially this right foot or your sweep foot. All right, and then feeling that big stretch in between your groin and your hip, and what that's going to do is going to whip your sweep leg around. So you don't have to actively think about doing anything with this except keeping it on the ground. And as this left foot is turning, the right knee goes out. So turn out, turn out, turn out. All right. So what that does is it makes you have a super wide sweep, which he does. Not that wide, but it's pretty wide. But he does a beautiful job. I really like what he does with his legs here. Now, I do think he kind of collapses a little bit. So I do think he could have got a little more around. But, I mean, he's really balanced on this left foot. He gets it all the way around. He's over his left side, so it doesn't really matter. I just personally would like this left armpit over this left knee more. But at the end of the day, I mean, that's close. It's not like he's falling back or anything or like breaking at the hip. So it's not like the biggest deal. And obviously he threw 22 meters doing this, so obviously it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, but that's just one little critique. Well, not really critique, more just something I would change if I was his coach. Although I might not change a lot about his technique, to be completely honest. As someone at this level, it would be more something I would try with him, and if it worked, cool. If it didn't, just scrap it. Gets a really nice here. So he's leading with the knee a little bit here, and then he gets into this classic soccer kick. So showing the groin, the right groin to sector, and the right, like this side of the foot to sector, like the inside of the foot to the sector instead of the knee. So he gets that good angular momentum into the middle. And then he really, really holds this chest to middle super well, allowing this sweep leg to get ahead of him to create that separation. So he really does a nice job here. So then he really, really pushes out the back. Actually, no, I wouldn't even say he pushes. He does like that classic. Honestly, he throws a lot like Gerd Cantor the more I'm seeing of this. This is the first time I've actually really broken down his throw. So what he's doing is, the only real difference is that he's actually turning his left foot all the way and not letting the sweep carry the left foot all the way out the back. But what he's doing is he's not sprinting out the back. So he's not super linear, which is why he's over here instead of in the middle. What he's doing is basically dropping this left knee super hard, and then letting this right side basically take him around. So he's basically being super stiff here, and then doing kind of like a hamstring curl. And what that does is it speeds up your left side. So as you can see, so he's here, and instead of this knee being and this foot being kind of low to the ground, it's honestly a lot like Krauser in this position, leg wise. a little over rotated, but like it's definitely not bad. Um, so yeah, so he does like a little bit of a hamstring curl, and that just fixes this timing. So that's one way to do it, but it's just a lot harder to do that than just pushing out the back. But it is a style that I like. If it works for you. So yeah, it's not like anything wrong or anything. It's just more I'm just explaining what he's doing. So he's here, touchdown. He's just like a little bit over rotated. But as you can see, so as his right foot is in touches, his left foot is in line. So this is a beautiful position. Now what I do think is that he has too much air time. So that's the one thing I don't like about this style technique is you do have a lot of air time. Instead of pushing out the back with this left foot, or sprinting out the back, or skipping out the back, whichever term you prefer, to get that right foot down sooner. So yeah, but the trade-off, so it's a give and take. So yes, you spend a little more time in the air, but the left foot is a lot faster, so it makes up for it. So it's not like you slow down. It's just a give and take. So he catches here in a really, really nice deep position. So his left arm, yeah, I don't know why this keeps zooming in. Oh my god, sorry. His left arm is like here. And where was his shot? Right arm's here. So beautiful position. So he gets here. Honestly, this looks like an old school Krauser position. This is like when Krauser broke the world record for the first time. Like this position is beautiful. Super bent knees, really dorsiflexed ankle right here. So the heel is up and the ankle is stiff. So you want to think about flexing those shin bones is a cue I like to use. To really stiffen that part. So it's not so much a calf raise, it's more the front part of your ankle that you want to stiffen. And then what he does is, well, I would like, the difference between this and Krauser is that Krauser stays on the ground, turns all the way through, and stays grounded forever. Cory Martin doesn't really do that, but he does push and get extension. So, I mean, it's honestly a lot like a glide finish from here. Kinda. Like, he's not really rotational with his... No, sorry. He is rotational. Alright? But with his foot. So, like, it's more just pushing that way instead of going around. But his hip is super rotational. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because people obviously throw far like this. It's just, not like the textbook ideal thing. That's not what, like, biomechanics say. But sometimes what biomechanics say and what actually happens are two completely different things. So, whatever works for you. And again, he's in competition, so he's not even thinking about technique. At this kind of level, you don't really think. You just kind of just throw, and it's just muscle memory. Thinking is the essence in competition. Especially at this level. Like, the fact, if you're at a level that you're throwing 22 meters, I don't think you really need to think about your technique that much in a comp. I'm just saying. So, unless something's going bad. But, yeah. So, other than that, so his left foot is really nice. So, he gets into so he touches here, and then slams that left foot down. If you notice this position, you notice that when he slams his left down, this right knee makes that little bump this way. So he gets his hips a lot more under him right here. So he gets that beautiful position right here. Alright, so his hip, shot, and ankle are all in one place. So it's a beautiful, when people talk about a beautiful stack position, that's what you mean. That's what they mean by a stack, is basically is the shot, hip, and ankle aligned. So that's what you want. And that's at the front. But front of the ring. And then I love this square up. And he just stares at it forever. and just boom, and just stays on it a lot. He's here, boom. So I really, really like this. Just level shoulders, nice block, and the shot is just boom. Now his reverse is a little weird. So he does do a reverse. So like I said, he doesn't get a lot of it. Oh, sorry. No, he does get a lot of it, but he doesn't get all of it. And what I mean by it is the energy. So his left foot landed here, and his right foot reversed to here. So that just comes from not being as rotational into the finish. So he combines a lot of new school thinking with a lot of old school thinking. So like the new school like thinking is like back to middle, and then he does a really old school kind of finish. So it's very interesting how he combines the two thought process. If anything, like his technique was ahead of its time, to be completely honest. Because not a lot of people threw like this, especially at this time. A lot of people were trying to copy Ryan Whiting, because like Cantwell, Hoffa, and Adam Nelson were just so unique in their technique. They're just super hard to copy. But like Ryan Whiting was just like, oh yeah, everyone can do that. So it's like yeah. So, but Cory Martin is more of like a standard day. Like he would not look out of place nowadays in a throwing competition, like in the pro circuit. Like he throws a lot like a lot of people today. If anything, he throws like a combination, I would say, like Cantor, Krauser, and Joshua Tunde is what I would say. So he kind of starts like Tunde, super wide, not as low, but super wide and super relaxed and short wind. Well, not that short. Tunde's is not that short. And then right here is like really Gerd Cantor out the back. And then he gets here. This is a lot of Gerd Cantor. This position is a lot like Krauser. This position is a lot like Krauser. And then he just kind of does a standard glide. If anything, this kind of looks like Stroll. David Stroll finishing the shot. So, yeah. It's like, it's very weird how he combines a lot of these throwers. And some of them, like, we're still kind of in the inception of, Krauser really was the only one. Well, and Tunde. Tunde was young as hell. I mean, Krauser, I think, was still in high school during 2013, I think. I actually forget. No, he might have been in college by then. Whatever. But, like it wasn't the Krauser that we know nowadays. But, yeah, so, like, he was very interesting for his time. And so, like, his reverse, he kind of does this. So he does, like, a weird reverse. So he kind of does this, and then he kind of slides his foot to, like, slow down his momentum. So he's here. So his right foot slides forward, and then he kind of uses his left foot to, like, drag against the ground and slow him down. It's kind of weird. But again, I think that's just because he didn't use a lot of rotational energy into the finish. So he has to basically do a glide finish. So instead of just doing an extra turn, as most like rotational throwers will do, he just does a hard into the toe board, stiff here, stiff right side, and then just tries to stay in. And it's just very curious. I don't know why. Well, I think I just explained why he did it, but I don't know if that's the actual reason. But overall, like, I just love his throw. Like, the more I'm breaking it down, again, this is my first time breaking his throw down, like, on a technical level. The more I'm just, like, starting to fall in love with it. Like, he just captures so many great qualities. And, like, he just throws so beautifully. Like, everything is so smooth. Everything is so dynamic. and he just accelerates really well. He catches so deep. Like, this is one of the deepest catches I've ever seen a shot putter. Like, literally the only other shot putter I've ever seen catch a shot put this deep is Ryan Krauser. Like, it's actually crazy how deep, like, he's catching this shot put. So yeah, it's kind of crazy, but again, so that's the end of this review. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I'll link his personal best, height, weight if I can find them, and notable accomplishments in the video description. And I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching.